Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are unpacking a truly fascinating story that gets right to the heart of how success is actually built. It's a concept we're calling the integrity blueprint. We spend so much time analyzing, daily strategies, morning routines, and all these financial hacks. But today we're looking at the foundational architecture of character. And I want you to stick with me until the very end because the core lesson we're going to extract from this story might literally completely change how you view your own life, your daily struggles, and your ultimate potential. So, have you ever wondered how one incredibly small, just seemingly insignificant decision can completely change the trajectory of your entire life? It's a profound question, right? We always tend to wait for these massive, cinematic moments to change our destiny. But the truth is, the butterfly effect of our lives actually hinges on those quiet choices we make when absolutely nobody is watching. Today, we're looking at the story of one ordinary man who made a choice that seemed, completely meaningless at the time. Yet that single choice altered his entire destiny.
Part 1. An Ordinary Life.
To really understand the magnitude of his ultimate decision, we first have to see exactly where our protagonist started. Let's set the stage here and look at the status quo of a young man named Arun. Basically, Arun's baseline was struggle. He lived in a very small, rural village with his mother, who was battling a severe illness. Every single morning, he would walk several kilometers just to get to a grueling, incredibly low-paying job. The guy didn't have a financial safety net, he didn't have influential connections, and he certainly didn't have a powerful family name to fall back on. Actually, they had almost nothing left at home. But Arun had this one incredibly powerful internal engine, and that was hope. He was hardworking, and he just kept showing up, day after day, despite the absolute crushing weight of his circumstances. Part 2. The Ultimate Choice. Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the ordinary routine completely shatters, and our story really kicks into gear. This is the inciting incident that forces Arun into a corner. So one evening, while he's making that long, exhausting walk home, Arun spots something lying in the dust beside the road. It's an old wallet. But when he opens it, his heart must have stopped. Inside is a surprisingly large amount of cash sitting right alongside a simple identification card. Now, I want you to put yourself in Arun's shoes for just a second here. He is in desperate need. His mom is sick, the pantry is totally empty, the bills are piling up. For a fleeting, incredibly human moment, a thought races through his mind. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is my lucky break and the universe has finally answered my prayers. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate crossroads we all face at some point in our lives. Look at these two paths. On one hand, he could just keep the money. And the rationalization is so easy, isn't it? It was just lying there. Nobody had seen him pick it up. Nobody would ever know. And it would instantly solve his family's immediate suffering. But on the other hand, he could try to find the owner. One path offers instant relief through a moral compromise. The other offers a highly difficult journey driven entirely by principles. He's just standing there on the road, weighing this massive internal conflict. But as Arun looks down at the cash, a specific memory cuts right through the temptation. It's a profound piece of wisdom his mother had always drilled into him. Money can solve today's problem, but honesty can protect your entire life. Wow. Let that sink in for a second. It's a thematic anchor for everything we're unpacking today. Taking the money would be a quick band-aid for today's poverty, sure, but it would infect his character forever. So driven by this realization, Arun snaps the wallet shut. He uses the identification card, figures out the address, and literally begins walking for hours out of his way just to locate the owner. After a long, utterly exhausting trek, he finally reaches a small house. An elderly man opens the door. And when Arun hands over the lost wallet, the emotional payoff is immediate and just staggering. The elderly man's eyes immediately fill with tears. He tells Arun, "You don't know what you've done for me." Because, as it turns out, that large sum of cash wasn't just, spare change. It was meant for an urgent, life-saving medical operation for a family member. Without it, they would have been entirely helpless. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the man immediately offers Arun a cash reward, but Arun politely, yet very firmly, refuses. He simply replies that he only returned what belonged to the man in the first place. He wasn't looking for a transactional payoff. He was just doing the right thing. Part 3. An Unexpected Opportunity. But, human nature has a funny way of responding to genuine integrity. And this brings us to the mentorship and reward phase of Arun's journey. See, that elderly man wasn't just a relieved grandfather. He was actually a highly successful businessman. And completely coincidentally, he had been endlessly searching for a trustworthy manager to head up a major new business project. He'd interviewed dozens of highly educated, well-credentialed people, but honestly, none had impressed him. In Arun, though, he saw something incredibly rare. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is his realization about hiring. Skills can be learned, but character cannot be easily taught. I mean, you can teach someone how to run a spreadsheet, right? But you can't easily teach them what to do when nobody is looking. On the spot, he offers Arun a job.
Let's move to part 4, the turning point, and see how this builds.
So Arun accepts the offer. But hey, if you think this is where the story gets easy and he rides off into the sunset, think again. The reality of success is far from overnight. Look at this timeline. In those first 12 months, the early days, the work was incredibly difficult for Arun. He lacked formal training, he made mistakes. Colleagues laughed at him, and critics told him he would absolutely never succeed in this high-level environment. But Arun used his struggles as fuel. Every failure was a lesson, every difficult day just forged his resilience. Moving into years 2 through 5, that grit really paid off. He mastered the skills and, combined with his unshakable integrity, he became the absolute most trusted person in the entire company. Finally, looking at years 5 and beyond, Arun leverages his experience to step out on his own and start his own business. And again, it wasn't easy. He faced months of early financial losses where he really just wanted to quit, but he pushed through it all.
When Arun's business eventually flourished into a massive success, the true measure of his character was revealed in exactly what he did with that wealth. He focused entirely on giving back. He intentionally employed people from his old village. He actively helped poor families facing the exact same struggles he and his mother once faced. And above all, he never, ever forgot where he came from. During the toughest times of building his empire, he always drew strength from that initial, defining decision on the dusty road. The decision to do the right thing when absolutely nobody was watching.
Part 5. The Timeless Lesson.
So Arun's journey from a struggling village boy to a successful, philanthropic business owner is super inspiring. But what are the fundamental, actionable takeaways for us here? Years later, when asked about the secret behind his massive success, Arun just smiled and said, "My success didn't begin when I became rich. It began when I was poor and still chose to be honest." I love that. This single sentence completely destroys the common misconceptions we hold about achievement. We so often falsely attribute success purely to money, to, being in the right place at the right time, having the right connections, or just raw innate intelligence. But Arun teaches us that the absolute foundation of success is entirely internal.
So the crucial point is that true, lasting success isn't something that just magically happens to you. It's a series of choices you make. It begins with choosing honesty, even when it costs you in the short term. It requires choosing patience, understanding that real growth just takes time. It demands discipline, showing up to do the hard work when an initial burst of motivation fades away. And perhaps most importantly, it is about choosing to continue when the critics, the mockers, and even your own internal doubts are screaming at you to stop. These are the traits that build an unbreakable foundation.
Now, I want to speak directly to you for a second. You might be navigating a really, really difficult chapter right now. You might feel like you're putting in the work and nobody is noticing, that your efforts are totally invisible and maybe even useless. But remember how the compounding interest of character actually works. The world rarely rewards you immediately. Your hard work might remain totally unseen for months or even years. But look at this. Step 1. One positive decision changes a single day. Step 2. You string enough of those together, and one positive habit changes a year. And Step 3. When the moment comes, one brave decision can alter the entire trajectory of an entire life. Every good decision you make is building the person you are becoming.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a really powerful guiding question. The next time life backs you into a corner and hands you a difficult choice, ask yourself exactly this: which decision will make me proud of myself tomorrow? Choose that path, because just like Arun, your biggest, most life-changing success might be hiding right behind your smallest good decision. If you found value in this breakdown and it gave you a new perspective on your own path, please share it with someone who might need that motivation today, and make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into timeless lessons. Until next time, keep making the choices your future self will thank you for.